Hello, this is Eric from Cisco, your consultant for business and IT. If you have users that complain about performance issues, and these users are sometimes in your office, in the branch office, at home office, or somewhere else, then this clip is for you. When users are mobile, it complicates the troubleshooting a lot. Because they always use a different infrastructure to connect to your services. They can connect directly to a service, maybe to the cloud. They can connect to your data center, maybe using your MPLS. It can also be that you have a site-to-site VPN and then the experience is again a different one. And unluckily, that can also change over time. So there's no one preventing one user from going from one office to the other or going from one Wi-Fi hotspot to the next Wi-Fi hotspot. So the situation changes over time. It's really complicated to have here an overview and troubleshoot that without any help. Fortunately, ThousandEyes can help here to get light into the dark. The user monitoring is divided into two parts, the synthetic monitoring and the real user monitoring. The synthetic monitoring generates a robot traffic to a target application and sees how is the user experience from this perspective. That is very practical because then you get an alert if something goes wrong before the actual user is affected. The other thing is the real user monitoring, which is also very valuable because sometimes you need to understand what exactly did the user do to experience the problem, right? So in this case, you know exactly what the users are doing if they use a thin client on their device. In this scenario, you can deploy a ThousandEyes endpoint agent on the end user's device, and once you have done this, the monitoring moves along with the user wherever the user goes. So if the user is in the headquarters, you can monitor him. If he goes to a branch office, you can monitor him. And if he goes to a Wi-Fi network at home or somewhere else, you can investigate how is the digital experience for this user. So let's have an example how that looks like in practice. In this demo, you see the user experience score over here. If it's 100%, it means that for every user, the experience is fantastic all over the time. If you have here a page that has a less good user experience, you will get a lot of context. You will see what kind of computer it is. You see here basically the model, the manufacturer, the operating system, the memory, the CPU, which browser was used, the public IP, the private IP. And this is a lot of information that you only get when you have an endpoint agent on the respective device because it's a device information. Next to that, you see also the computer name for this person. Next, you see how the person connected, if it was an Ethernet connection or a Wi-Fi connection. You see which gateway was used to access the internet. You see if there was a VPN tunnel and which was the interface used for it. And you see how much time it took to load particular web pages that this user used. So this is the real user monitoring, and it's always combined with the synthetic monitoring. And you see basically here synthetic tests that ran in parallel. For example, you can see here that there was a time where there was a lot of packet loss, and you see here the different end users on the left hand side, how they access applications here on the right hand side, and you see here the complexity of this access paths, right? You see, for example, here you have a user that used the VPN. You see here a user that had a Wi-Fi access point of with a particular strength, and you get many details here, right? Also, if there are known networks, these are shown here, and if there are problems in a known network, you can further drill down to see where the problem arises. And here, for example, we have one hop where we have a forward packet loss. And this is very valuable because you need to understand when there's a problem, is it in your network or is it on another network where different person or different stakeholders are responsible. So this is really important information to route tickets in case of problems. Further, I need to mention that the people can really walk around, and you see then here on each time frame how the conditions changed. So that means the information is time sensitive, and when a person comes and complains that there were performance problems, you can see backwards in time what happened exactly at this time, right? Because it could be that the situation have changed. Just imagine you have one person having a problem and then does not immediately make the ticket, but he goes for drinking a coffee or have a chat with friends, and later he makes the ticket for the performance problem. But during this time frame, the conditions could have completely changed. It's really important to mention that this is time sensitive information, right? It can be that the person has performance problem, but it reports it later because he talked to a friend or had a coffee in between. So that means by the time the IT team gets the ticket with the problem description, the problem might already be resolved simply by waiting. And then it's difficult to reproduce the problem. But however, ThousandEyes gives you the possibility to go back in time and see exactly what happened at this particular timing. You might think of, oh, that looks really great. I want to have all my employees equipped with this kind of monitoring. Yes, that's theoretically possible, but practically you should think about it in a pragmatic way, right? You could basically see what kind of stuff you have. Right? Maybe there are people where it's less critical when you have performance problems, and maybe you have stuff where it's very, very crucial. Just imagine doctors or specific experts with a specific expert know-how, and in terms of a crisis, they need to be able to access the application to share their knowledge. Maybe via VPN access, to reboot a server, or if it's a doctor, to access a system to help a patient. Right? Could also think that you have consultants and they are very expensive, and you have them for a particular reason, such as SAP consultants. However, if they are not able to access the system, they cannot work properly, and they might work on different things, on other projects they are not paid for. So it's really crucial then that you have a good monitoring for these key stakeholders. Also, key managers are typically often very demanding or need information for presentations, right? Or when they are in another management meeting with escalation, that they have access to the needed resources. So you need to understand a little bit, okay, what kind of employees do I have, right? With what kind of information they are working, and how critical it is from a risk management perspective. In this video, you learned how you can monitor the digital experience for employees when they are working around in different environments, and if the situation changes over time. I'm Live Eric, your business consultant. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I see you next time. Goodbye and have a good one.